Hey everyone, I'm Jesse,
And this is Harry.
and this is our project, Light Up Glenferrie. Alright, so have you ever noticed the laneways around Glenferrie Station are lacking something? They function as the main arteries into Swinburne University from key public transport nodes, including the tram stop 73 and the Glenferrie train station. They are packed during the day, quiet at night, and the laneways suffer from poor maintenance and inadequate lighting. We aim to address these issues through our research and design. Right, so where are we looking? We are looking at the laneways parallel to the rail line, as you can see here. So first thing we did was we mapped the existing conditions. So we've got the Columbia Street laneway here first. As you can see, a mix of lighting types, very dim though during the day and night. And on the southern side, we have Railway Arcade Lane. Um, Again, the same sort of typologies we had on the northern side, not a lot of adequate lighting. We then went and mapped these typologies in 3ds Max. As you can see through the fly through here, it's quite dim. This is just a more detailed view at one of the most common types of lighting we sell.
How do pedestrians move through these laneways? So pedestrians start at the train station as seen in red and travel along the pathways as seen in yellow towards the red circles, which are the destination objects or the buildings around Swinburne campus. As seen in the first flow simulation, you can see them as spheres. These represent the pedestrians moving along the pathways towards the different objects. Next, it was tested as a tie-spline in flow, which allowed us to look at how the pedestrians flow through in different routes. And finally, we looked at it as a blob mesh, which shows it as a heat map. So we can see the red density is where the most amount of traffic is, and the yellow as the less, as you can see it trailing off in different distances. But has the local council already maybe addressed this issue? Yes, they have, but also no, they haven't, as seen here in their 2021 Bundura Council plans with the revitalisation around the laneways. Although this didn't go ahead in 2021, 4 years later now in 2025, it looks like Columbia Street is going to go ahead with the project. So what exactly did Columbia Street focus on? They first looked at vertical lighting poles, and then they looked at green space, and then they also looked at public seating, and finally they looked at ground light and incorporating that into the pedestrian pathways.
Okay, so now what did the Railway Arcade focus on? They also had a focus on green space, widening pedestrian pathways, as well as providing more seating options. And similar to the other laneway, vertical lighting was chosen too.
So maybe we need to ask what the Swinburne community actually thinks about this project. The first question we asked was, do you predominantly arrive by train or tram or walk to Glenferrie station? Predominantly, respondees responded saying 74% of them came by train. Secondly, we asked if arriving by train, do you feel the Glenferrie station concourse has adequate lighting? It was about average throughout. The third question we asked is if arriving by tram, do you feel like the tram stop 73 has adequate lighting? Most responders believed that it was inadequate lighting. Fourthly, we asked how would you rate the pedestrian lighting around Swinburne and Glenferrie station? Predominantly, people responded saying it was very inadequate. The fifth question we asked was at what times do you feel lighting around campus and the station is most insufficient? Majority of people responded saying at night after the hours of 9 p.m. The sixth question was what specific locations do you feel are least safe or least well lit? Predominantly, most people thought the laneways around Glenferrie were the most dangerous. The seventh question we asked was have you ever altered your route, mode of travel, or time of travel due to poor lighting in this area? This was about average between occasionally and never. The eighth question we asked was, in your opinion, what would most improve lighting safety and comfort around the Glenferrie laneways? Predominantly, people responded saying they'd prefer better lighting in laneways and side streets. The ninth question was, how safe do you generally feel walking around Glenferrie Station and Swinburne campus at night? Predominantly, most people felt neutral. The 10th question was, do you think lighting should also highlight landmarks, signage, or wayfinding to help with navigation? This was overwhelmingly positive towards yes. Finally, we decided to ask the swimmer community to give their opinions on the council plans in form of long answer questions. Here are just a few of the responses we've received, and predominantly people focused more on the lighting needing to be improved around the campus.
Okay, so how could we improve on the council's proposals from these suggestions? We took inspiration from the Highline Park in New York. The way that they rejuvenated a derelict public space was something we wanted to incorporate into our design. With that real world example looked at, we also took a look at a more futuristic potential future, and we had to look at cyberpunk settings such as the game Cyberpunk 2077. So we then looked at a more practical example of the ways we could use light as a wayfinding mechanism. So with that looked at, what do we then propose? We decided to take the aspects of that future aesthetic as well as the practical wayfinding mechanism, and we proposed creating a system of drone information pads which serve as wayfinding guides for pedestrians visiting the site. We've created a video to show what this might look like in the future.